What sparks a conflict that reverberates across borders and generations? Let's delve into the recent escalation between Israel and Hamas. In the heart of the Middle East, a single rocket launch set off a series of events that would ripple through the region. It was a day like any other when a rocket, launched from Gaza, hurtled through the air, landing in southern Israel. The damage was minimal, a house left slightly scarred, but the implications were far-reaching. Israel, responding to this attack, unleashed a series of airstrikes in central Gaza. The targets? 2 training camps, a security post, and an underground site used for producing rocket engines, all linked to Hamas. The strikes were precise, the destruction significant, yet miraculously, there were no reported casualties. But it wasn't just the physical repercussions that were felt. The echoes of these strikes reverberated through the region, escalating tensions that had already been simmering. The epicenter of these tensions? Jerusalem's Old City, more specifically, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. This sacred site, revered by both Palestinians and Israelis, has been a flashpoint for conflicts in the past. The Palestinians envision East Jerusalem as the capital of their future state. On the other hand, Israel regards all of Jerusalem, including the eastern part, as its eternal capital. This disputed claim over the Holy City adds another layer of complexity to an already convoluted conflict. These events, from the rocket launch to the retaliatory airstrikes, have ignited a conflict that transcends borders. The immediate impacts are clear. Buildings reduced to rubble, a city on high alert. But the reverberations go far beyond what we can see. It's the tension that hangs heavy in the air, the fear that any moment could bring another strike, another escalation. And so, as rockets flew and warplanes retaliated, the region teetered on the edge of a wider conflict. The spark had been ignited, the fuse lit. All that remained was to see if the situation would explode into full-blown war, or if the flames of conflict could be quelled. In the midst of tension, a march. But not just any march. An Israeli nationalist march through Jerusalem's Old City, a walk that was seen as a step too far. This annual event, known as the Flag March, is a significant display of nationalism by Israeli citizens. It commemorates Israel's capture of the Old City during the Middle East War of 1967. The marchers, draped in the national colors, pass through the Muslim quarter of the city, a path that has raised more than a few eyebrows. Hamas, the Islamist group, has been vociferous in its opposition to this march. They see it as a deliberate provocation, a blatant affront to their religious sensibilities, and have not shied away from threatening violence should the marchers dare to tread in Muslim neighborhoods. The Old City is not just any city. It is home to the revered Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a site of immense religious importance to Muslims worldwide. The march, therefore, is not just a walk through a city. It is a walk through a religious and political minefield. Interestingly, perspectives within Israel's government concerning this march are not monolithic. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has shown support for the planned route of the march, yet some members of his coalition have called for a more sensitive approach, suggesting alterations to the route to avoid areas of potential conflict. The march, a symbol of nationalism to some, a provocation to others, further stoked the flames of conflict. It became a symbol, a metaphor for the deep divisions and the escalating tensions between Israelis and Palestinians. And as the marchers took their steps, the world watched, holding its breath, wondering what the next chapter in this long-running saga of conflict would bring. The tension erupted into violence with a major flare-up between Israel and Palestinians in Gaza. The tranquility of the region was shattered by the thunderous roar of Israeli airstrikes, which were met with a fierce response from the Islamic Jihad group in the form of rocket fire. This marked a significant escalation in the conflict, a grim dance of destruction and reprisal that caused the death of around 30 Palestinians. A pivotal moment in this escalation was the killing of a senior Islamic Jihad commander by Israeli forces. This action not only heightened the tension but also ignited a relentless exchange of airstrikes and rocket fire, casting a dark shadow over any prospects for peace. To fully understand the gravity of this escalation, one must delve into the historical context of the conflict. Back in 2005, Israel withdrew from Gaza, creating a power vacuum that was soon filled by Hamas, an Islamist group, in 2006. This rise of Hamas was followed by the capture of an Israeli soldier, setting off a chain of events that further fueled the conflict. In 2007, Hamas took over Gaza, a move that led to a series of Israeli military offensives in 2008 and 2014. The tension between the two sides continued to simmer, with Palestinian protests in 2018 and a major conflict in May 2021. This most recent escalation is a chilling echo of the past, a reminder of the volatile history that has shaped the region. As we look at the aftermath of the deadly strikes and the rising death toll, the question remains, when will this cycle of violence end? The cycle of retaliation had spun into a deadly escalation, a stark reminder of the region's volatile history. As we reflect on these recent events, we must ask ourselves, where do we go from here? The events that unfolded in the Middle East, from the initial rocket attack and consequent airstrikes in Gaza, to the nationalist march in Jerusalem and the subsequent major escalation, are imbued with complexities. The narrative began with a rocket launched from Gaza landing in Israel, instigating a series of airstrikes in retaliation, targeting Hamas training camps and other strategic locations. The tension was further heightened by the nationalist march through Jerusalem's Old City, an event seen as a provocation by Palestinians and Hamas. This sequence of events culminated in a significant escalation, marked by a deadly exchange of fire between Israel and the Islamic Jihad group in Gaza. The death toll rose and tensions flared over Jewish visitors at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. These events serve as a stark reminder of the intricacies of the situation, the challenge of finding a peaceful resolution, and the immense human cost of conflict. It's a testament to the urgent need for dialogue, understanding, and compromise in pursuit of a lasting peace. In the face of such a complex and volatile situation, the path forward remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The pursuit of peace is a journey that we must all commit to, for the sake of all who call this region home.